There are actually more instructions on how to use it that were sent to the Meteor-core mailing list. It's super fun. It's not finished yet. It has some rough edges, but it would totally be cool. It would totally appreciate it if you guys were to like fiddle around with it and publish some packages, see what happens. This is a preview server, so nothing is gonna live on it forever. It's a sandbox. Feel free to do whatever you want. Have fun, and thanks so much for being a great community. Yay! Woo!
And now back to dinner.
Did you say about like they're going to delete everything in the flash or something?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Let's do some amazing. Two weeks into Code Camp. This is part of Code Camp. Victor, you are part of Code Camp right now. Welcome. You're making us happy.
Quick announcement. I need to find, if you are one of the following, David Kaplan, Greg Dugarian, and Nathan Ross, please come up here. We need to do a tech check with you before your talk, or, we can't guarantee your talk. Thank you.
synchronize and make sure people are aligned. It's a doable thing. So, you know, it's not the easiest thing, but it's doable.
And that's our too.
And the reality is, there's a lot of talent in the Bay Area is kind of already locked up.
Twitter.
Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, Google.
There's so much.
Every company that has like lots and lots of VC funding. So even though we have funding, we don't have like Greylock funds. You know, which is like, hi, here's a $20 million check. You can now hire anybody you want at market rate and then send it, right?
Oh yeah. That's good. I can understand that.
Yeah. You know, so it's a basic rule that no matter how much money you have, somebody else has more.
Probably, yeah.
And or somebody else is more attractive or whatever. Right?
Yeah.
So
It's hard to attract people.
But the cool thing for us is that, so they'd actually already decided on Meteor.
Yeah.
And I came from a job world, so it's like, you know, and I've also been very experienced in a lot of stuff, so I'm like, I see so many different ways to slice and dice the problems that I go, you know, it's telling somebody who is talking, like, on Meteor's like awesome. He's like, you know what? At the end of the day, it's ones and zeros, and you can't tell me that the way your ones and zeros are better than my ones and zeros. You know what I mean? Because it's like, you know, it's like one of those religious arguments that
exactly.
at the end of the day, the CPU is processing ones and zeros, right?
I know
They're not special.
Yeah. Java people are really confused when I show them things that I do. They're really confused when I show them things that I do, actually. Java people.
Yeah.
I heard you mention Java. We have a lot of Java people at my company.
Yeah.
But it's a big search consultancy, actually. And what I'm doing is like in a subsidiary. We are 4 people. One is a sales, and one designer on a full stack, and then we have a search consultant. And we team up and make new ideas.
Yeah, but you're part of a big company, right?
Yeah, so we have like the
So
security.
you should be part of a small company. Join us. You'd be employee 6.
Yeah. 6?
6.
This is 6. Oh, there's. I thought there were more.
Oh, in Whalepath, 6.
Uh-huh.
I'm kind of from
Well,
New York too.
see with you joining 6.
Sorry. I got some cinnamon in my throat.
What's that?
This tastes like cinnamon.
Oh, yeah. Oh, but if you get a big dose of it,
Like, it starts the next morning at like 6.
I mean, it would be fun. I mean, I always dreamt of like working here or in the States for 2 years. But I mean, I'm kind of.
We'll be starting in about 11 minutes, so if you can start finding your ways to your seat, that would be awesome. Thank you.
it's all more of a long story. Putting yourself out there, making asks and talking about it. Because the more you ask, you know, maybe you don't want to do it at the end of the day, but someone you know might. You know,
Probably, yeah.
So, you know, so there's this thing about the idea of like weak second-tier connections. Like there, we just met 15 minutes ago. But because your circle of acquaintances and friends and colleagues is completely different than mine, and because there's no overlap, it's more likely that you're going to find that person that we need is in your circle of connections.
Yeah, that's right.
Because I've already explored them. Right?
Yeah,
You know, so
yeah.
now I'm
You
not-
stretch your arms. Stretch your tentacle.
But
I was thinking of a way to like do it as well. I mean, if there's like a lack of, local jobs, I mean, one could like maybe team up and like work. I don't know how that would work.
I should have finished my thesis.
Would it be consulting?
oh,
You know what I mean?
with Whalepath and you,
Yeah.
it would be
With that, it's not like it's direct recruitment of people working remote.
Yeah,
Yeah, but I mean, it would be for a company, yes. So he would have all the social securities in the country, but still he would be working for. Would that work? Are you getting it? I mean,
well, okay, I can't speak for your local tax law, but so if there was a situation where it's reversed, it would be, I would be paid by a foreign company, and I would be expected to report my earnings to the government as if I was basically running my own company. You know, in other words, tax law is roughly is like so in the United States, there's half of the tax, half of some taxes is paid by the corporation, half of the other half is paid by the employee. But an
That's the same
individual,
in Sweden actually. Yeah.
okay, so in an individual role like that, it would be like all the taxes would be paid by the individual. So it'd be something that I could keep in mind. But I don't know anything about the tax structure. About that, so I don't know.
I mean, that's the thought. I mean, like, I don't know how to explain it, but that could be an easy way to expand. I mean, get more developers working together. If you would like cooperate with other local small companies. I don't know. Just a thought. Well,
Right now, it's just
maybe it wouldn't be hard to merge the culture.
I'm not following you. Sorry. I missed what you're saying. I just guess from my perspective, it's like there's a high value to people locally, but there's also a high value quality people no matter what their location. Things like GitHub and Skype and GChat. There's not as much of a requirement of a local person.
Yeah.
And nowadays you don't even know where your servers are half the time because they're someplace in the Amazon cloud, right? So, I think the other place where it doesn't work out well is when you require wholesale design changes and everything needs to gather around the same way. But that's what airlines are all about.
But anyway,
Yeah.
I had a talk with Jade about they sent out a mail about your recruiting people. I sent back. I mean, what do you think? Is it a great culture? And I mean, I was really inspired by it, but I didn't do like write a letter or send anything because I'm kind of like what's important for me is like the people I work with. So, because I want to be around people that inspires and that think like I do and like love what they're doing. I mean, who maybe want to stay like up to 7. So, kind of also that's why I'm here on checking out how is this here. I mean, I was thinking of sending in a letter. I mean, what's the application?
What's that?
I was thinking of sending in a letter about it.
To Jade at Meteor?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, good. What's the worst that would happen?
Yeah, but I wanted to feel like, does it feel like the right thing? First, you know what I mean? Because I've switched jobs before and done bad choices. I mean, because I didn't check out things before. I mean, if it was really a good company and
So then you change jobs again?
No, you know what I'm meaning?
Well,
I applied
I know what
said
your
yeah.
culture is. I have says, I don't know what this person wants. They want to do another lightning talk. They want to work on one of the Meteor packages. You're making them work too hard to figure out what you're trying to say.
Oh yeah, I should be really clear about that.
Yeah. If you make me guess, I'll guess wrong almost certainly.
Okay. Good.
But you want to work for Whale Pal.
I don't know what it is actually. Whale Pal.
We're doing on-demand business research for corporations.
Yeah.
Basically, what we're doing is we're taking student researchers and making it so that they can deliver really good results to companies, and in the process, they get their first job, their first work experience. We make money, they make money, and they get better positions. So it involves a few other things. It may not be romantically interesting, but we make money, which is always good. Making money is always good.
That's always, of course. That's the point of all business. But it's really, we don't usually do like American companies do. We don't have like VC stuff.
Yeah.
Usually, like you have to have a really good idea to build your. So most ideas don't get built.
Well, here's my response to that. You only find a really good idea by working through all the really bad ideas that you had first.
Yeah. Yeah, but we don't spend much money on like crazy ideas. Could, like, for example, an app.
What's your GitHub username?
Twitter is where.
I mean,
We never made it, so yeah, exactly.
Once you're out here and you see this,
But we have other stuff, yeah. Working, nothing like that.
All right, you're on the admin list now.
for however many days.
Yeah.
I'll be more than happy to talk to you. And
Mention Monday.
Wait. I need to get back.
It's the same.
Oh, Tim Brandon.
.com is uploaded a new version today.
Okay.
Yeah, it's easy. That's easy.
And I'll send you, I guess, an email or whatever.
Yeah, there's. Okay, yeah, it's the same for Gmail.
Tim Brandon.
It's everywhere. Everything can match.
It works. If it works, it works.
Okay. Oh, did you check already? What laptop are you on? Okay, great. Okay. In that case, just use the previous presenter's laptop. All right, cool. Figure out a way to get a chair for Katie over on that end. Sometime either like before the lightning talk starts. And Judy, are we running low?
yeah, we're doing real-time presentation.
All right, everyone, please find a seat. We're about to begin. Let's get started. All right. Can someone close that door back there so we All right, our first speakers are Sam Hatoum, Mike Risse, and Robert Dickert. You've heard Sam speak before at Devshop on test-driven development, and Mike Risse about Mad-Eye, and Robert Dickert will be giving another talk later today about Meteor Boulder. Together, they and a whole bunch of other really awesome folks pulled together Velocity, which is the unified testing framework for Meteor. Without further ado, Mike, Robert, and Sam.
Okay, so I'm Sam from Zolvio.
I'm Robert Dickert from Meteor Boulder.
I'm Mike Risse from Mad-Eye.
And we're here to talk to you about Velocity, which, as Jade said, is the unified testing framework. And we're also happy to say that it's the officially supported testing framework for Meteor for 1.0.
So, the Velocity team came together as a result of an online meetup that happened with a joint effort of Meteor Boulder, Meteor Denver, Meteor Cincinnati, and Meteor Seattle.
Now, prior to that, there was a bunch of frameworks. There was RTD, there was Laker, there was MochaWeb, and all of them did different things and did them very well, but there was nothing that did them all together nicely. So when we got together, we said, why not just put our heads together and make something for the whole community? And Velocity was born.
So Meteor makes it really easy to build interesting, reactive, responsive apps, but it doesn't necessarily make it that easy to test them. So what have been some of the difficulties?
So really the fundamental difficulty that you run into when you're testing Meteor apps is that Meteor doesn't have a testing environment. You have your dev environment and you have production. So you're basically left with two choices. You can run tests inside of a Meteor app, or you can run them outside of a Meteor app. Now, if you run them outside, you have to do a lot of fancy stuff around stubbing the different Meteor methods. And if you run it inside, you have to be very careful that it doesn't leak into your main application and it's running in an isolated environment. Both of those are challenging things to get right, and those are some of the primary things that Velocity is solving.
So the way we solve that is by basically creating a mirror application. So for some frameworks like MochaWeb, they have their own mirrored application that's the same as the Meteor application, but it's a complete mirror running with its own database, and that runs in a separate environment. That can be destructive with the data. It can run, and once it's finished, it comes back to Velocity. Now, some other frameworks like Jasmine Unit don't need a full environment, so we don't give them a mirror. So it's down to the framework to select whether it wants a mirror or not, and Velocity supplies mirrors.
So in the past, when you wanted to install, we've had some testing frameworks like RTD, like MochaWeb, and some of the difficulty you have installing it is that you may have to use npm to install it. Sometimes it has dependencies that it have to load. Sometimes they don't load correctly, and there can be a lot of trouble just getting the thing to work correctly. So the way Velocity solves this is by making it a smart package, just mrt add velocity.
So Robert's about to do a demo here, and the demo of the app is basically going to be an app where these packages are added. So you'll see Velocity, a couple of test frameworks, and a reporter.
Okay. So I wrote this really cool app. And yeah, I know, you recognize it, don't you? Now there's one little difference here. It has this little green dot up here. I'm going to pull up some code. I don't know if you can see it very well, but this is just some of the test code. And it so happens that I think it'd be a really good idea to uncomment this line, which is going to break my test. So I'm going to hit save. Oh, turned red. Huh. Oh, and it's doing a little flashy thing. So I think I better take a look at that. I'm going to click on that circle, and here is the Velocity overlay. OK, so here it is. So this is the overall result. 24 out of 25 passed. Looks like we have a problem in Jasmine Unit. And you can see that 7 out of 8 passed, and here's the stack trace from that. So let's see if we can figure out how to fix that. I suspect that if I did that, it'll probably work. So I'm going to hit save, and lo and behold, it reactively goes back. You can also make it so it shows all of your passing tests, so it nicely formats all of your stuff. It also happens to be reactive, or responsive, excuse me. So if you have to make it small because you're working on a small laptop, it'll crush down for you, and you can use it on your phone. So there it is. Let's go back in the presentation. All right, so we saw the first feature here was the unified reactive in-app reporting tool.
Now the other thing, there was Jasmine unit and there's Mocha Web, and what happens is Velocity runs these in parallel, and they run all their tests and come back out. So basically, it's very fast. You don't get sequential running, and the more frameworks you add, the more they'll run in parallel. And in the future, we're hoping to add it so that each framework can actually run parallel tests itself. So speed is key.
And again, these are all smart packages, so they run native to Meteor. They know all the Meteor dependencies. They should play nice with your apps.
And I just wanted to note quickly that CI is just going to be another reporter. So just as you saw the HTML reporter, now there's going to be another reporter, which is continuous integration.
So Velocity is more of a community than it is just a running framework. Everything is made so that it's reusable by other test frameworks. So for example, the mirroring, all frameworks can get that for free from Velocity Core. There's also automatic stubbing that happens. So it's a big pain to stub Meteor code. And so we've got a package that goes into your packages, scans them, creates a mock for all of them, and puts that into your test directory. So that can actually be used by other frameworks as well. So today we have Jasmine unit, but somebody might come and do Mocha unit or some other unit. And when that happens, they can also reuse the auto stubbing. Yeah, that was it.
All right.
So one of the things I wanted to mention here is that as your app grows, you need different kinds of tests. Maybe when you're starting out, you just want to hack something together and have a few Mocha Web tests. But once you are serving an enterprise level app, you're going to need some end-to-end tests. And we don't have Night Watch today, but that is coming soon. But the main thing is that you're able to use lots of different testing frameworks in one app, have one reporter, and they all play nice together. So how does Velocity work? To me, when I'm thinking about Velocity, I almost think of it less as code, more of a common interface that everything shares. So all of the different testing frameworks have a common way of reporting test results, and all of the test reports have a common way of consuming these test results from Velocity. And Sam can speak to that a little bit better on the next diagram.
Yeah, everything's a package, and it's all reactive. So this is how Velocity works conceptually. So Velocity is in the middle. On the that side, you've got your normal app code, and you've got your test code. So the first thing that Velocity does is it watches your app code and also watches your test directory. As soon as there's a change, then what it does is it distributes your tests to the correct framework, and that framework would run those tests. It finishes, it returns the results, and then Velocity will publish those results to the various reporters. And everything here is a package. As we were saying, you saw the in-app HTML reporter. The console reporter is useful for just seeing it from the console. And of course, we can have things like XUnit reporters that will allow it to integrate very easily with continuous integration servers, because most of them use XUnit.
So when can you use it? You can use it today, but be very careful. We were working up until the last minute getting this ready for the demo. So I can confidently say that many bugs will be encountered by many people. But we want your feedback, so do try it out and let us know how it works for you.
So what's next? We've mentioned continuous integration support. What's really cool is that the Meteor development group have said that this is going to be the official framework for testing for 1.0. And so we're going to see things like tighter integration with the Meteor command. So we'll be able to do Meteor test, and that will run your tests. So Velocity itself will disappear, and it will become integrated. It's a bit more medium term, but in the immediate, you can actually start using this, knowing that it's the framework that's got the full support. We mentioned that Selenium Night Watch is going to be in there, and that's really cool. It allows you to test on a variety of browsers locally. It's an industry standard tool, as well as Cucumber.js. So we're writing those imminently. And something from RTD that we used to do was test coverage. And so the code would be instrumented, and after you've run your tests, you get a report of where you've got coverage. So that's coming soon. And the one I'm really excited about is distributed parallel testing. So to basically start up some cloud helpers, and then they'll do the testing for you for things like Selenium, which are really slow, and they'll come back and give you a report quickly. It's all about speed, basically, so hence the name Velocity.
So if you want to get involved, what can you do? Well, the best thing you can do is try it out and report bugs. Tell us what features you want, what's missing. There's a lot of stuff still to come on it, so we'd really love your feedback. If you would like to get involved with the team, there is a Velocity Core Google group, and you can check that out and talk to us there, and we'd be happy to discuss that with you.
And the bit.ly link that you see right here, that's the slides that you're looking at right now if you want to look at this deck for whatever reason.
And again, a special thanks to our team members who aren't here, Adrian, Abigail, Rye, Josh, Ronan, Greg. You guys are awesome. That's it. Thank you.
Questions from the audience?
Yuri, go ahead.
Can you run tests like for front-end in different browsers?
Yeah, absolutely. So as soon as we do Cucumber, oh, sorry. The question was, can you run front-end tests in different browsers? Sorry, I didn't see that. So the answer is yes. As soon as we have the Selenium support, for example, with Nightwatch, it's down to the framework to say what it wants to support. And we know that Nightwatch allows you to run on Source Labs and Browser Stack, so you can run across all the browsers, and also you can install all the browsers locally and test your app on mobiles also.
I have one. How long ago did Velocity start as an initiative?
You know, the meetup where we all had that discussion was on April 1st. And yeah, we had that talk. I think Sam talked to me like the next day and said, man, this is great. We should continue this discussion without an audience and see what we can do. And so, yeah, you know, I talked to everyone. I think every single person I talked to said yes. And we acquired a couple more, like Abigail and Greg. So yeah, it was really an incredible community initiative that started just as a matter of discussion between people and turned into Velocity.
Yeah, that same night, I went to say, well, I haven't got much time. I've got too much on my plate right now. And then that same night, I went and coded like the first slice of it and said, right, let's do this. Okay.
Cool.
So if I install it, it's not going to add anything to the production app, or does it?
Repeat the question.
If I install Velocity, it's not going to add anything to the production app. Not completely. It will add a little bit, but a very small amount. We've taken like great pains to make sure that test files are not added into the production bundle. That said, there's going to be a small piece of the Velocity framework that is shipped out to production right now. There currently isn't a way to like mark a package in Meteor as like a test-only package. Once you're able to do that, then we'll be able to say like there's absolutely nothing being shipped out to production. But until then, sort of the best we can do is say there's a very small number of tiny files that will go out to production.
But you can remove those before you go to production. If you just say remove
That's
packages, then they won't be. And the other thing is, you know, the support from the Meteor development group is promised, so hopefully that won't be very long. There was another question.
Does this replace tiny tests, or are we? You can test packages with this, obviously.
So the question is, does it replace Tiny Test? The answer is no. Tiny Test is for testing all the packages. Of course, you can build an app out of packages, and you can use Tiny Test to test all of those. This is for testing your application code.
So one thing to add there is that somebody we've been working with, Ronan, he's actually, they've written a framework called MUnit, which sits on top of Tiny Test and provides things like assertion libraries and what have you on top. We've been talking about how to integrate that, and it is possible to get that to run alongside all the other frameworks with Velocity. So we should be able to get it in now.
So you can test packages with this unit?
You could test them with both Mocha Web and Jasmine Unit today. Not quite the same as like Tiny Test does it, but you know it shouldn't be too long before we get MUnit in there. But straight out the box, like Tiny Test, not right now. But you can run them alongside each other. That works.
Any other questions?
Is there some kind of test framework that you envision for kind of setting up factories or like kind of fake populations of data alongside your tests?
Yeah, so you're talking about fixtures, being able to fix data. So when you run a mirror app, one of the things that a framework can do is run a pre-step, so prior to the app running. And in there, you can do things like copy fixture code in. And so this is something we used to do with RTD, and it's definitely going to make it into here. So in that, you can basically get, for example, if you're running Selenium, you could call an endpoint and say, I want to set up 5 players. And after those are set up, you can run your test. So you can go through the setup, execute, verify. Yeah.
You said earlier that Velocity goes in and creates mocks for everything in advance. How do I access that? How will I know how to refer to them?
So Jasmine Unit is the framework that does that because it's a unit testing framework and it runs outside of a mirror. So Meteor doesn't actually load up at all. What happens is it's just loading plain old JavaScript files. And so what it does is it first has a Meteor stub that we've built, and that sort of pretends that all the Meteor functions are there so that the code can at least load. Now, if you have a dependency on some package, that code's not going to load. So the auto stubber, it takes a first attempt at trying to just generate empty functions for everything that's in the package you've referenced. If it doesn't work, it will give you a message saying, I couldn't stub this automatically, but these are the things you have to stub before you can run unit tests. And then you can go off and stub those like minimally, and then feel free to submit those, and we can put them in a repo, and then everybody else can get access to those as well. Yeah.
Thank you, guys. Just wanted to share with you while you're still up here. Julian Alvarez on Twitter says, "Go Velocity, go." All right, cool. Thank you. Sean, come up. Oh, okay. Can you guys come back up here so we unmic you?
Oh, right.
It pops off on the back. All right. All right, go ahead, get set up. Yeah.
Okay.
Our next speaker is Sean Rose. Sean Rose is a product manager at Box. He launched Box Content and the Box View APIs. And he's been building APIs and developer products at Box for over 3 years. And though he's relatively new to the Meteor community, he's already a huge fan of all of you. Here's Sean.
Yeah, I'm getting set up here, so while that happens. Does anybody work on anything really, really cool today? Like, who built the coolest thing here today? No one? Okay. There we go. Okay. Sure, nobody built anything cool today? Maybe something that they came in here with that was really cool? It's your one chance to be broadcast to the entire world. In the back.
I'm building an iPad app that controls the lights and the fire on my car.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Pretty fun.
And it uses Meteor all the way through, or how does that?
No, it actually doesn't use Meteor at all.
Oh. All right. Okay. Well, I guess we'll get an opportunity to learn. Okay. So if you saw the thing that got mailed out about the what my talk was going to be and everything, you noticed that I was going to talk about instant and real-time presentations. So I thought that it might be a travesty if I didn't actually use my own app to do this presentation. So I'm actually going to use this live and actually give you the opportunity to see how it works kind of at your computers and everything. So there's kind of a token Bill O'Reilly line that goes here. There's kids here, so I'll let you figure it out yourself. But so anyway, the way this app works is you kind of get this really simple home screen, and you get this option to share a presentation. So I'm using filepicker.io to do the presentations and stuff. And so as Jade mentioned, I worked at Box, so I'm not going to show you all the super confidential things that are in my Box account, because not getting fired is one of my top priorities. So I'm going to pull this out of my Dropbox account, which is slightly less secure. With respect to all the confidential stuff I have, because none of it's stored in there. But so as soon as you upload a document to here, lots of crazy magic is going on behind the scenes, and we're actually converting it to HTML, and I'll kind of go into the details about that. But so once you kind of get this in place, you get this link that you can share with people. And so I'm going to get you guys the actual real experience, and I'm going to actually tweet this link out so that you can actually go and see. Looks like lots of people are talking to Mark Andreessen. Okay. So if you go and follow, look at where I am on Twitter. So if I go to right here, so we'll just see in just a second. So this is my Twitter handle. So if you go here right now, you'll see the actual link I just tweeted out, unless Twitter's down, which happens sometimes. So if you open that up, you can do it on either your laptop or your phone. I actually built this to work kind of responsibly. But as soon as you have that up, you can actually see kind of the gist of kind of what's going on here. So yeah, people at home also, I think there might be a slight delay on the stream, but this will look kind of cool anyway. So anyway, the app that I built, again, like I said before, it's called Broadcast, and I call it the fastest way to share a presentation real time on the web. And so to do a little bit of background on me, as Jade said, I work at Box. How many people have heard of Box, or at least know what Box does in some semblance? Okay, good. Marketing's doing their job. So, we have this basic vision of kind of letting people share, manage, and access their content from any device and anywhere. We're used by over 99% of the Fortune 500 in companies like Procter & Gamble, Coca-Cola, Netflix, so on and so forth. Most major companies, probably use us. And while you'll probably be familiar with kind of the web and mobile and desktop apps that we build, a pretty big component of what we do is our platform and all sorts of developer products that we build to enable developers to get into all the enterprises that we work with. So the particular product that I'm working on now is this thing called the Box View API. And the way that this works, basically, in a nutshell, is we take desktop files like Office and PDF documents, do some crazy magic, kind of like what just happened here, and turn them into HTML5 that you can work with in a normal web or mobile application. So taking these kind of cruddy like Office documents and turning them into HTML, CSS, SVG fonts, and the normal things you're used to working with on the web and everything. And so I'll come back to kind of where the technology comes into how I built this app in a minute. But to kind of get started with, I want to tell you kind of the problem I set out to solve with this, because, well, this is kind of cool. There's actually a specific need I had. So as Jade said, I'm a product manager. So a lot of my life is basically Dilbert. I'm kind of doing presentations and graphs and stuff a lot of the time. And while I do make fun of myself for that, like a lot of the purpose behind this is being able to communicate information about how we're doing, data, all this sort of stuff to people in a really fast, informal, and exploratory manner. Just like that's kind of my central role and everything like that. And with the way that Box is now, we actually have multiple offices across Los Altos, San Francisco, off the map in Japan, in another place in London, and in a few other places, hopefully in the future. And it kind of makes this exercise of kind of getting this really fast exchange of information in like a presentation form really difficult. And so, there are kind of existing applications and everything that I've tried to use. So you've all probably used like Join.me or WebEx or Google Hangouts and so on and so forth. And I've tried to use these with people all the time, and every single time I go to like contact them, there's always this issue of you haven't installed this plugin yet, or you need to download this software, it doesn't work with your browser, there's something wrong with your firewall. Like, there's always some problem every time I try to do something with somebody when I call them over this. So it's really frustrating because it wastes 3 to 5 minutes of like everyone's time every single time. Like compounded, it ends up being hours, and if you're doing a big person meeting, it ends up being many, many hours. And so on the other end, I'm trying to do something, and it just feels like the other person just like has absolutely no idea what they're doing. Like, it's really, really frustrating. So when I think about, I want to be able to exchange information really fast in an informal manner, the tools that I have available to me really don't accomplish that. What ends up happening is everything becomes really slow, really complicated, and really frustrating. And that's the complete opposite of what I want. And so the problem that I think that I needed to solve was to kind of remove this barrier of having these weird plugins and software that you need to download and just completely idiot-proofing the entire process so that even this puppy at this Windows laptop can see my presentation. And so, at Box and, kind of my background in design and everything, we have this concept of a bias towards action. So when you see a problem like this in the company, we're very much encouraged to go out and just try to fix it. Some people do it through operational processes. Some people do it through software. I chose the latter. And so we can kind of, I was trying to figure out how I was going to solve this problem. And as you can see, I generate huge engagement on my Twitter account. I got a whole 2 responses. But both of them were very confidently saying I should use Meteor to build this next project. And so, since I'm very easily swayed, I took their advice and went with it. So I kind of had this concept, I'm going to build this app with Meteor, and like it's going to be really cool. I'm going to solve this really big problem that a lot of people have in our company and everything like that. And I started telling everyone, I was like, man, this is going to be so cool. Like, everybody's going to use this. Like, this app I'm building is great. And the problem is, or maybe not the problem, is that in a month and a half, we were putting on this really big developer conference called Box Dev, which is basically like our equivalent of WWDC or Google I/O. We have like 1,000+ developers attend and everything. And I got the attention of the people at my company that are putting on the event. And they're like, yeah, you're using our technology to build a really cool app that solves a real problem. You should totally present about it at our conference and everything. And I just kind of looked at that opportunity as it was and was like, yeah, that sounds great, and totally signed up for it. The problem was that I literally had done nothing to actually build the app yet. So it was 5 weeks away. I had literally read nothing about Meteor, written 0 lines of code, and committed to presenting about this app that I had not even built yet in 5 weeks. So needless to say, I was not feeling very good about myself. And the other problem is, as a product manager, I'm not coding during the day most of the time. This would have to be something I do kind of part-time and everything. So while I'm spending most of my time doing presentations and stuff like that, I would have to do this kind of in my couple of hours of spare time and everything. So to go from this kind of really bad situation to this epic conference we're having, I had all 5 weeks to go from 0 to something, which was a bit of a daunting task. So the first 2 weeks, I literally was terrified. I didn't know what was actually going to happen. But fortunately, I stumbled upon something that kind of just fell from heaven, which is like this book. And so Discover Meteor literally saved me very, very greatly. Like, it explained everything in detail about how Meteor works, like how to build an app. And like every single bit of information I could have possibly imagined I needed to build an app was included in there. And I was able to burn through the entire thing like, in a couple of nights and everything. It was really well written. So kudos to the guys that wrote that. That was really useful. And so I built kind of the demo project app that you do, kind of the Hacker News clone, Microscope or whatever. So knocked all that out in 2 weeks. I was starting to feel a little bit better about myself. Still pretty horrible, but a little bit better. And so in the remaining 3 weeks that I had up until the conference, I actually started building the app. And so I apologize for the inception here. This is the app that I'm presenting from right now, and this is a screenshot of the app. But so anyway, so how this actually works, it ended up being very simple. There's a little under 700 lines of code, and most of the heavy lifting is done by Meteor and the View API that I build and kind of maintain at Box. So to kind of go through what happens, if you remember in the beginning, there was this point where I chose my presentation and everything. All that's really going on here is that user is picking a file, and I send it on the back end to the Box View API. And we're the normal RESTful API. It's really, really basic HTTP requests. So using the kind of prepackaged HTTP library, this was super easy to do. And again, so once I upload to the View API, I'm creating kind of this object in the database that kind of keeps a clone of all the state that I'm getting from the View API itself. And so after that, you get this kind of loading progress indicator thing, and that's when all the magic, crazy stuff is happening on the Box View API side. And so it happens asynchronously, and once the conversion is complete, the Box View API sends a webhook to my app that says, the conversion is done now. You can show the document to somebody. And as you saw before, it only took a couple of seconds. It's really, really fast. And the way this works is, again, super easy. I receive the HTTP request, and I just update that entry in the database that I just created previously with the actual loading information. And so on the other side of this, I get this link that I can give to people that are viewing, which is what I tweeted out and gave to you guys. And then I have my own link that I'm presenting from that gives me control. So what you guys didn't really see is the only main UI difference is that there are arrows to change the actual presentation slides and everything. But the way this works, again, is really, really super simple. It's just kind of with the permissioning system that Meteor provides with the subscription. So when the presenter updates the page, it gets updated in the database. And when that happens, it gets pushed to the viewer. It's really, really simple. And this is just a product of how Meteor is kind of built. It was really easy to do this. And so when I change a page as a presenter, I'm basically waiting for the event from my viewer and just updating the page in the database from that same object I created earlier. And so when the viewer sees the page change, which is what you guys see when the page is changing, I just have this kind of deps auto run block where it's watching for changes in the page in the database. And then it calls the JavaScript function I have to update the pages and everything. So really, really simple. And again, a lot of the other heavy lifting was done by all these really amazing packages that kind of made everything super easy. Like if I had to figure out how to do routing and stuff by myself, I totally would have been screwed. But fortunately, I had help from all these different things to do this really, really quickly, in a span of 3 weeks or whatever. And so I would like to say that that is the end of the story. Unfortunately, it was not. Because so I got to our conference and everything and had the app pretty much mostly built. And I was getting ready to go on stage, was getting mic'd up kind of like I was over there, when I just had just a super, super deep twist in my stomach, and I realized there was a really horrible bug in the app that would basically, anytime a viewer would open up the presentation, it would reset the pages back to 1, which obviously, if I'm giving a presentation to hundreds of people, that's liable to happen. So I literally dropped onto the floor with my laptop and fixed the change, didn't test it, well, manually tested it, but didn't formally test it, and deployed the change using kind of the one-line Meteor deploying everything. And the whole thing got fixed in a matter of less than a minute with the code change I had to do in the deployment. And that was just really enabled by this really super fast, super easy Meteor deployment process and everything. And so even with all that crazy stuff that kind of happened, these little really tiny developer experience things that Meteor takes a great pain to make sure they get right, like one-line deployment, actually saved me at the last minute, literally the last minute. So when Jade said that I'm a huge fan already, there's blood that was almost shed because of that. So so yeah. I had, this app is completely fully built and everything. I open sourced it. It's deployed to Meteor.com, as you guys can probably see, because you have the link and everything. But, you can take a look at how it works and everything, as well as how it works with our API and everything. But yeah, I just wanted to say, thanks to the Meteor folks for having me out here. And then also, yeah, this has been a really great experience. And, in that kind of 5-week span, you've got a lifetime fan already. So thanks.
Questions from the audience? Oh. back there.
So a very, very minor thing. It might be really cool if you could integrate a URL shortener into the app. So that would be like really cool.
Yeah, the question was, or suggestion was more that it'd be cool if I integrated a URL shortener. I totally thought about doing that. It was just lazy. So you can create an issue on the GitHub repo, and I'll get to it. I'll get to it, but take note of the suggestion. There's another question. Yep.
Do you use Box like this internally at Box, or is this just your public project?
Yeah. So I mean, this was created for a problem I was having. Sorry to repeat the question. So is this used at Box in any capacity, or is this just kind of like a side thing? Now the answer is it actually is used at Box because, like I said, we're kind of distributed in many cases. And after I built this, obviously I told everyone about it before it existed. So you can imagine what happened after it actually did exist. So yeah, I mean, we use this especially in kind of really big meetings where there are like 30 or 40 people. Like it's really hard to coordinate all these kind of gummy kind of other apps and everything. And so it ends up working really, really well. And like, if you think about this in context of usage, like it was really fast for me to get that set up. So it actually ends up being useful, which is surprising to me, but I guess it worked out. Question right here at the hat.
Yeah, would you consider moving to like a production server?
You mean like moving to like EC2 or something, or? Yeah, so the question was, would I consider moving to a production server such as EC2 or something? I would consider it. I think the only thing is it doesn't, like, I'm not like actively promoting this to the world, so, and I guess secret's out now, but, so yeah, now maybe I do have to think about that, but for right now, when we're only using it internally, I think Meteor.com has been sufficient, but yeah, it's actually probably something worth considering now because like you saw, the actual kind of conference and stuff we had was at the end of March, and I've been actively maintaining it and enhancing it and stuff since then. So probably a good idea just for people using it. So you had red shirt next.
Yeah. Have you played with maybe having like a presenter view for the people so that if like you like go too fast through a slide, they can kind of go back and then maybe catch up with you later?
Question was like having like kind of controls or presenter view for people that are viewing and stuff like that. Yeah, I've thought about it. Yeah, I have thought about it. I just haven't done anything around that yet. But I totally get it. I think like if you think about the kind of usage, if like somebody calls you on the phone and like you're just looking at this with them, like usually you'll be kind of in sync anyway. So most of the time we've kind of had feedback to the presenter to slow down if that was happening. Although obviously you guys didn't have the opportunity to talk if I was going too fast, but good point though. Right there.
Would it be useful to add the audio stream as well, so you could skip trying to get everybody on the same call or something like that?
Yeah, question was, would it be useful to add an audio stream or something like that so it didn't have to have the step of like a call or something? Yeah, definitely. That's something I'm looking at. So I'm thinking maybe doing something with like WebRTC or something to like just have this kind of all-in-one, really simple, I don't know what you call like conference calling type thing that only takes 2 seconds to set up and just uses the web and you don't have to worry about plugins and stuff like that. It's something I'm looking at right now. I don't have a ton of experience with WebRTC or anything like that, but I obviously have a willingness to learn crazy things in crazy amounts of time. So it's something I'm definitely looking at because yeah, I don't like phone calls anyway. Up front.
So this is a story question, not a technical question.
Yeah.
The story seems to be over. You
Yeah.
presented at this conference.
Uh-huh.
Did anything come out of that? Like, did your job change in any way? Is it just like another day at Box now that you've done this?
Why would it have changed? Yeah, so I guess the question was kind of as a result of kind of presenting this and everything at our conference and everything, has anything changed in kind of my day-to-day at work and everything? Answer is probably no, but that's kind of, so you're asking a relative question, and I have a pretty crazy life at Box normally, so I think that's probably the thing that prevents that from being a yes. But yeah, I'm generally always kind of working on kind of random side projects and stuff like that here anyway. So we kind of get encouraged to think about crazy things whenever possible. So not too much has changed, to be honest. But any other questions?
One back there.
Yep.
Hey, can you
Yeah.
tell us a little bit about how Box converts PDFs to HTML5?
So the question was, can you tell us more about how Box converts PDFs to HTML5? So right now, most of that is kind of proprietary, unfortunately. But if you look at, you can kind of examine the, I don't know, pop-up inspector or whatever, but you can look at kind of how we output things. And so the kind of main pillars we use are SVG and just basic HTML. So all the images and colors and fills and stuff in here are all done with SVG. And that's both because it's super light payload and scales very well on, say, like Retina devices and stuff like that. So you know, the exact kind of things we do in there are pretty crazy, but you know, those are just some of the components. If you want to work with us, I'm hiring for my team, but and I can tell you more after that point.
Last question.
Who had their hand first? It's umpire pick. Okay.
So you talked about
yeah.
going from PDF to HTML5. You also have like PDF generation from HTML?
Not from HTML to PDF, but for anything that goes, like so obviously the PDF that goes through there, we can create a PDF version of that because it was a PDF to begin with. But for the Office documents and stuff that go through there, we can also create a PDF for that. We don't quite have it kind of generically built out to do any HTML to PDF, but it is something that we are kind of thinking about and looking at. And the primary reason for that is, I don't, has anybody here ever had to implement printing in a website? Yeah, not a fun time, right? So a lot of kind of hacks around that involve kind of creating an intermediary PDF or something like that and kind of allowing the browser's kind of native viewer to be the kind of facilitator for printing. So for purposes like that, it's something we might look into, but not specifically available today.
All right.
Is that it?
Cool.
I think
Thank you,
that's all the
Sean.
questions. Yeah. Thank you.
All right, next up we will have the lightning talks, but first we will have a 5-minute break. So feel free to go to the bathroom, you know, grab a beverage. If you want to take one piece of trash on your table and bring it to recycling, compost, the appropriate bin, that would be awesome of you. Thank you. Hey, how's it going? What?
Who does Leica? He's from
Ross. Greg Dargarian. Who is Greg Dargarian? And can you come up here, please? Also, Nathan Ross. Yeah. All right, can everyone take their seat, please? All Lightning Talk speakers, please go back there. Everyone else, sit somewhere in the room. Unless you're Nathan Ross or Greg Dargarian, because I need to find you guys. If you don't come up here, you're not speaking. Hey, can I ask you guys to take a seat? Yes, speakers go back there, except for anyone who's already spoken. Sean? Oh, okay, yeah. And Greg Dargarian and Nathan Ross? Are you guys here? What? Okay, where's the other one? Which one? You're Nathan Ross. Go back there, check with Sean about your... Check with Sam about your... What? Yeah. All right, everyone take a seat. Can someone tell the people in the lobby that there's room to sit now? All right. Our first lightning talk is from Katie, and she's an internet meteor.
Hi, I'm Katie. I'm a rising senior at MIT, and I'm the community intern here at Meteor this summer. And so I'm organizing the second annual Meteor Summer Hackathon, which is taking place on July 26th, 27th. And I invite all of you guys to come and apply. So it's taking place here in the Meteor office. We'll be hacking downstairs, upstairs, on the roof for 24 hours, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So whether you're an experienced meteorite or you're just getting started, we'd love to have you here. So the applications are due in 6 days. That is this coming Wednesday, July 2nd. And you can find more information about the application and about the hackathon at hackathon.meteor.com. Sweet. Does anyone have any questions? Yes. You can submit an application online, and I can check out your app. Yes. Okay, sweet.
Who's judging?
Okay, so we have 5 amazing judges lined up. So there's Trevor Blackwell, who is a partner at YC. Sean Drost, who's the co-founder of Hack Reactor. Christine Yen, who's an engineer at Facebook. Nancy Hua, who's the CEO of Aptimize, as well as Amy Wibowo, who is an engineer at Airbnb. Yeah? Cool. Sweet. Yes?
How many applications do you have so far?
Currently, we have 112 as of yesterday, and we are accepting 100 applicants. So get your applications in quick.
How do you select them?
So last year it was a pretty selective process. So we're trying to get a range of meteorites. So you don't have to be you don't have to have written like a meteor package in order to apply. We're trying to get a broad range so we can get a wide variety of demos.
Will there be a crash course like last year?
Yes. So there will be a crash course hosted by Evented Minds' Chris Mather, and that'll be on Thursday evening of the hackathon week. Yes.
Are you doing anything to connect up people that don't have a project with other people that need?
Yes. Once we select our applicants, you don't need a team to apply. So we'll be having team matching. Everyone will be in a Facebook group, so you can feel free to contact people if you have project ideas or if you're looking for teammates. As well as before the hackathon starts, we'll have an hour to mingle and meet potential teammates. Sweet. Yes.
So I just built my first Meteor app today. So obviously my application doesn't include any Meteor apps that I've built.
Mm-hmm.
Is that like a bad sign for people you're recruiting?
Not at all. So if you have your GitHub of other projects that you've worked on not in Meteor, that's totally fine as well. Yep. Okay.
Make sure to include your GitHub profile in your application.
Yes, exactly. Okay. Thank you so much.
I'll take your mic.
Oh, it works.
Next up, we have Matt Arbsfeld, another intern at Meteor.
Hey guys, I'm the engineering intern at Meteor, and I'm a rising junior at MIT. And I'm going to show you some of the interesting stuff we're working on for the Meteor build tool and making development faster. So one of the things that I really like about Meteor is the auto update functionality, where if I change a file in my Meteor project, Meteor recognizes the file change and automatically rebuilds my app and then refreshes the client while preserving the application state. So this allows me to iterate quickly. So let's take a look at how that looks in an app. So here's a version of Microscope that's I call big. So a lot of big apps take a while to bundle and serve data to the user. So let's load our app. So you see, it takes some time to load the data. And now if we change a CSS file, for example, let's make this a nice subtle blue. It'll take some time to bundle the app, restart the server. And people who are making big apps, like I talked to someone who's giving a talk later, could take 30, 40 seconds for this process to happen. And if all I'm changing is CSS, I want to see the instant updates. So let's look at the newest version of Meteor that is in the pipeline right now. We'll pull up another terminal browser, and we'll run the same project. And now let's load it in a different tab. So on the top is the newest version of Meteor, state of the art, and the bottom is the old version. Now let's change this to be, say, red. And you see the top changes basically instantly, and the bottom still has to update. So if I'm doing something really hard in CSS, like centering a div, something that'll take me that's like inexperienced CSS person forever, like this is going to give me instant feedback. This isn't just for CSS. This is for any client-side asset. So here's a template, and say I want to add like HTTP to the beginning of this domain. Since on the top, I don't have to restart my server because it's just client-side. It's a lot faster. And that you can see that on the bottom, I have to restart my server, and that's the old way of doing things. The new way, we don't have to restart the server. So yeah, it should be allow you guys to develop faster, and it will be great. This will also form kind of the backbone of how we do incremental loading in the future and not loading all the templates on initial load. So yeah, that's it. Hope you guys enjoy.
Questions?
So it's dependent on 090, so around either with packaging or soon after packaging. Yep.
Is the gist of it that it basically knows if you make like a front-end edit that it knows that that's different than changing like your application?
Exactly. So in the past, we So the audience member asked, how does it work? Does it notice that we made a change to certain files? And the answer is yes. Before, we just noticed a file changed. Let's just do everything. Now we have much finer grained knowledge of the files. We know if it's a CSS file. We know if it's a client-side file. And we can act accordingly. Yep.
I guess that was just plain CSS. I didn't really see. But are you going to support stylus, Sass, less,
Yep.
stuff like that?
it works now. So if we had a less file, it would compile the less file and serve the new CSS. Sorry, the question was, will it work with preprocessor CSS formats? And the answer is yes. And it works now.
Is the end result of the incremental compile bit for bit identical to as if you had done it all in one shot?
So that is, the goal of this is to have not see any difference from how the old system worked, just be faster. So that means if it's new CSS, it will load the CSS as if it loaded the new file. So it should work. It should work the same as before, but faster.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Our next speaker is Robert Dickert. He is the captain of Meteor Boulder, and you saw him speak earlier today about testing.
Okay. So again, I'm Robert Dickert. I'm the captain of Meteor Boulder. I'm here to talk to you about online meetups. And since we're at a meetup which is broadcast online, talking about online meetups, I thought I'd get a little meta for you and ask you a question. Why are you here? Not why are you here, but why do you go to meetups? Sure, you go to meetups to learn things, but you also want to probably meet people. You might meet a mentor. You might meet an employer, an employee, a partner. You might start a testing group. Amazing things can happen if you create connections, and that's what meetups are all about. We have meetups all over the country. They're not all as big as this one. But how can we make them better? What can we do? Well, why not try online meetups? Because meetups need great speakers, and speakers need an outlet. You know, community members have something they want to say, and you don't just have to say it to one place. So let's take our meetups and link them together. We all meet in our physical locations. We use Hangouts on air to link them together with video, and we grab speakers from anywhere. In fact, I think we are the only Meteor meetup that has ever had Aranota. And why is that? That's because Aranota comes from Sri Lanka. And it's hard to get him to physically travel to your meetup. And they can also be viewed by anyone. They can be viewed live the way you're watching Devshop right now. They can be viewed after the fact, the way you can watch Devshop after the fact. So it's a really great opportunity. If you're a meetup captain, you're thinking about doing this, where do you find speakers? Well, look around you, look to your left and right. Look at the people who created that package you love or that great app that you saw. They're all around you. All you have to do is ask. Now, I know this may be intimidating to some people, but you have to think about, what if they say no, or what if people don't come to your meetup? Well, I suppose it's within the realm of likelihood that you will spend the night lonely and afraid, standing naked in the rain, while fire ants crawl on your legs, and all the people you've ever had a crush on point at you and laugh and laugh. But meteorites are really cool. So really, what's going to happen? Well, you might not do anything, or you might have a great meeting, or just maybe something amazing will happen. That's what happened with Velocity. We were doing our second online meetup. I got Aranota, and he wanted to talk about Leica. It's a testing framework. So I thought, let's do a panel discussion on testing. Talk to Sam Hatoum, Jade and Alice got me in touch with Mike and Adrian and some other folks, and we had this meetup. It was a really great discussion. And afterwards, Sam Hatoum, as I said before, says, let's continue this discussion offline. And everybody said yes, and Velocity was born. Now we have a testing framework for Meteor. It's being supported by Meteor Development Group. It's this amazing thing that happened because we connected with online meetups. So try it. It's great. One quick recommendation for you. It really works well for panel discussions and Q&A. The more interactive it is, the better. Have some short presentations too. But it's really a lot of fun, and I just want to say, make sure you catch our next one. It's going to be on Famous. We're going to have Zola Ola from Percolate Studios. Come see us in Boulder at Refactor U, our sponsor, or see us online. Thank you very much. I hope it's Tuesday the 29th, but I'm still figuring out. I will publish and we'll make it well known.
Any other questions? All right. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
That's timing.
Oh, okay.
That's going to show you the timer.
Okay, I can do this too, hopefully. Sorry, hang on a second. I had gotten set up on this
Yeah.
computer, so I need to make sure that my slides still work with this one. All right, awesome.
All right, our next speaker is Alice Yu, who works on community at Meteor.
Thanks, everyone. So I'm actually going to move over here so I won't have this big table between us. All right, so hi, everyone. I'm Alice. I work here. So quick show of hands, how many of you are on our mailing list? Who here gets my emails? Wow, nice. So you folks actually already know about what the big thing is that's going on this week. Big event this week is soccer, apparently. So this is, in fact, exactly what everyone in the Meteor office has been watching all week, right through there in the lunchroom. Turns out it is really addicting to watch numbers go up. So I'll hear a shout that, oh, geez, we just passed $14,000. A second later, goal! So if you're not on our mailing list and you maybe don't know what I'm talking about, this week we're having our first ever Meteor Challenge. This is a drive to spread Meteor to new people while raising money for kids who are learning to code. We've got 9 Meteor companies and supporters who are together pledging $5 every time someone new finds out about Meteor and likes it enough to start it on GitHub. It's super simple, really easy, quick, free to support. So Code Now is a nonprofit. They provide free programming workshops to underrepresented high school students. Over 80% of their students actually qualify for free and reduced meals at their high schools. Since 2011, they have provided over 20,000 hours of free training for these students. They are one of the first nonprofits to be funded by Y Combinator. And as of right now, we have raised $14,945 for them. This was all you. Thank you so much. This has been amazing. So this is actually, like I said, the first time we've done anything like this. And it was a bit of a risk to pick a specific goal like $25,000. I know I was definitely scared when I was about to hit the big red button to launch it. But I've been really blown away by the response that I've heard from the Meteor community. I've been seeing these Meteor Challenge tweets every minute. I got some really sweet emails in support of the campaign. Right now, if we can keep it up, we are on track to beat our deadline of next Monday. So really good job, everyone. I did manage to find one hater. So on the Reddit thread, there was this citizen who thinks that kids should really teach themselves how to program. Because, I mean, they've got a scripting language right in front of them in their browser. And it only costs $300 to get a laptop these days, which is pocket change, apparently. I could say a few sentences about what I think. That sounds like a downer. I mean, here's a video from Code Now instead. Oh, sorry.
But let me ask you this. What's the one thing they all have in common? Early access to technology.
I'm
I'm not just talking about dumping a computer in a classroom.
That's not enough. I'm talking about mentors.
Teachers.
People who will help us learn not just how to use computers, but how to build websites.
Programs.
Code. Code.
Code.
That's why I'm a part of Code Now. Code Now teaches us how to master the language of the 21st century. Now, let me ask you this. If I have the same access to technology as you do, who's gonna stop me?
Who's gonna stop me?
Who's gonna stop me?
All right. So, in conclusion, go get your friends to check out Meteor this week. Go around your office tomorrow, get anyone who has their laptop open to take a quick look. It takes 2 seconds, just one click on GitHub to be counted as part of this campaign. We've got 4 days left to get these kids their $25,000. So thank you so much. I'm really proud of everyone. Have a great evening. Questions? Yes, Chris.
Were any of the kids that are here today, will they be benefiting from this?
I don't know, are they Code Now kids?
That was the question, I guess.
Okay, I've been hiding over there preparing my taco day, so I don't know actually. Yes.
They're from a different coding school, I think, and a different thing.
So, oh, okay, you're answering the question. Okay, the question was whether the kids who are at Devshop today are part of Code Now and would be benefiting from this. And they're part of a different coding school. Yeah. Any other questions? All right, thank you very much.
All right. Our next speaker is Tim Brandon. He is the captain of Meteor Gothenburg and also interaction designer at Findwise. Tim.
Thanks. Hi guys, I'm Tim. Got a great presentation there. I'm going to talk about burnout. This is a content validation service, which we've been working on, and also why we choose to do it in Meteor. So, but first let me present myself. I'm Tim Brandon, 28-year-old. I'm the action designer, as you told me, and I'm captain at the Meteor Gothenburg. We are 58 people now. It's not as big as this one, but we're getting there, hopefully. And that's Gothenburg is in Sweden, so where IKEA, Spotify, and ABBA comes from. And also surströmming, you shouldn't try it. I'm here for vacation, so I'm mostly biking around the city. This is a photo I took earlier this week. But back home, I work at Findwise, which is a consultancy, and we touch upon like technologies such as Solar, Elasticsearch, Google Search Appliances, and Splunk. So one of our clients came with their problems. They had a big site and their vast amount of content, and many authors were creating much new content that they couldn't really manage at all. So the core problem was that they had so many broken links, and also they didn't know what emails they were listing on the site. So we came up with a solution to use the search engine to discover all their problems and then present it in some way. So we didn't know what way, but we got a small budget. And with our lean startup approach, we tried at it, and I don't remember everything, let's say. So we already had a search backend already set up, so it was just for us to build a front end. And we already tried out Meteor a couple times before, but never for a real product. So we thought, let's see if it works. So let me show you. So this is the product, the front page. So let me just log in here. So we have a couple customers on this right now. So this is kind of what they see. This is a Trello-inspired interface just for speed. For us to, we didn't know how to build it, so let me look at Telia, which is a phone company, and they have, this is what we have indexed and found. So, for example, the broken links here, we found a lot of them. So here you can see the link, how it's presented on the page and where it's found. So pretty useful for them. And in the inventory section here, you can see all the emails we could find in the page. And also, you see in the bottom here, there's an odd one that shouldn't really be there, I guess. So they could just check it out and see where it is. So I'm not going to do it right now, but you get the idea. And over here, this is another communal site. We have indexed a lot of files here. Let's see, it's 17,000 files. So let me see if I can find any dummy content, of course. Because that shouldn't be there, of course. So, oh, there is, obviously. So they should probably remove that, which is kind of nice. So to conclude, Meteor really made us breach the boundaries, and it was really fun. So this is from a Cabal commercial. So and this is the packages we used. And thanks for having me. Questions?
Any questions?
Hi.
Could you talk us into the process of your agency choosing Meteor for this project?
We kind of wanted a application. Sorry, the question was.
Could you talk us through how your agency chose Meteor for this project?
So the question was, could you talk us through how our agency chose to use Meteor in this project? So the thing was, we have used Meteor. We tried it out, yes, but we didn't know if it would work, and we just wanted to try it out. So I think it really succeeded and made us really confident with going along to the next level and making it a full version. Did I answer your question? The question was if you look at other tech stacks. Well, we looked at Angular, and I mean, it's nice, but we wanted something reactive and simple and really quick to get started with. So.
Did you start with Spark or with Blaze?
The question was, did we start with Spark or Blaze? We started with Spark, actually, so we had a real problem upgrading. So, but that was overcome after a while.
Other questions? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, our next speaker is Manuel De Leon, who is a senior software engineer at Pearson. Is this the same Pearson that does educational testing?
Yes.
Cool.
Good. All right. Hello, everyone. Let's see. I'm here to present Kongspec, which is a service site that I made. And I believe it's service site number 5 million around. And the reason why I made it is because, well, I had the need. I wasn't happy with my options. So here I have let's go through it. So, for example, here on the right I have a survey which has 2 questions. And one of the things that I'm usually interested in is who answered what and what else did they have to say. So for example, on the right, I'm logged in. So if I select an option, a few things will happen. I can start typing, great, and a few things happen. So it uses Meteor, so I get the answers immediately, right after the last keystroke. And the other thing is that it says, oh, you selected Rails, you selected .NET, and you said, great. Now, another thing that you can do is if I'm not logged in or if I'm using a private browsing, like in this case, I can, when I select something and I type, what now happens is that I get the answer as anonymous. A third option is to distribute the survey with the distribute tab. You add your contact, put in the name and the email, and it will send an email with a specific link for each of your contacts. So that when they click on that link, like I have here, and you're watching your results, you can see that, oh, it's no longer anonymous. You see the name of the person that you sent the email, and they selected Rails, and then they said it's great. And again, it uses Meteor, so it updates automatically immediately. And even better, I can click on any name, let's say Lester, and I'm gonna see the survey as Lester filled it. So I have a little bit of time, so two things. If you're working with a school or a nonprofit, contact me and I'll give you a full account if you want it. And another thing is support your local Meteor meetup and join in. And even if you're just starting, share what you're done, what you're learning, etc. Thank you.
What did you use for the animation on the progress bars?
I don't remember. What did I use on the animation on the progress bar? But I honestly don't remember. Yes.
So is it used by Pearson for surveying?
Oh no.
Can you explain where is it applied?
Oh no. The question is this used at Pearson? No. This is a personal project at Pearson. We use it for monitoring tools, monitoring services. Yes.
Is it possible that what you built could be fused with something, say, like Wufu, right, that has an API, and if our department at the university already has an inventory of forms built in Wufu, we would like to use Conspect on the back end so that if the forms are used, we can get real-time results. Do you think that's a possibility, or?
The question is, does it have an API that can interact with other services like Wufu? Not right now. If you get in touch with me and you're interested in that possibility, we can make it happen.
Question: How
Yes.
long did this take to build?
With Meteor, let's see, about a little over a month, because I already had all the idea. I built it in Rails first, and then with a lot of JavaScript that did pretty much everything that Meteor does for free. So moving it to Meteor was just a matter of removing all the stuff that Meteor does.
Cool. Any other questions? All right, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Let's exit out of the timer. And whoops. Do you need sound? No.
No.
Okay. Our next speaker is Dave Kaplan. He is the CTO of Exegy, and he's going to be telling you about the Learn Meteor Udemy course. Dave.
Cool. All right, so Exegy is a web and mobile custom build shop, and we do a whole bunch of stuff. I mostly lead the Ruby on Rails team. We also do some mobile development. We have WordPress, we have design, do a whole bunch of stuff. And our engineers came across Meteor and got really excited about it. And one of the things that we've done at our office is hold Rails classes that have been really successful, and we had a lot of fun doing that. And so we kind of took our excitement for doing Meteor and our excitement for running classes and doing that kind of thing, and we wanted to experiment with doing an online course. So if you go to exegy.com/labs, you'll see the page for our Meteor course. And it's $29, but we have a 50% off coupon for the first 100 people from the Devshop who want to sign up. And the code is just Devshop, all one word. And so part of the story behind this was we've used Udemy, which is an online course platform for, there's JavaScript courses, there's Rails courses, and when you did a search for Meteor, before you would find nothing, and now we have the only course on there. So we kind of wanted to, add our hats into the ring of Event in Mind and Discover Meteor that have great content out there, and just, there's not a lot of that learning Meteor kind of content out there, and we're kind of doing it from a web developer's perspective of someone who might be coming from another framework, might know some JavaScript, and want to just get up and running pretty quickly. So we kind of built a custom version of the to-do list app, the standard to-do list app, that we kind of break down piece by piece and how to build it. And we talk about some of the concepts of Meteor and Mongo and all that stuff. So we've gotten some good feedback so far. People that have reviewed the course have given us good reviews. So we kind of want more people to sign up and get like a little more of a community going. Part of what we're going to do also is we're experimenting with doing an online hangout. So we put this, you've Meteor showered us with love for the previous really good reviews that we've gotten. And actually tomorrow afternoon, if you go to our blog, there's going to be a link where you can hop onto a Google Hangout where we're going to be just chatting about Meteor, and if you have any development questions, we're going to answer them. So we kind of want to build a little community around our students and kind of give back, if you're going to sign up for the course, give back in value by kind of being there to help answer your questions. So that's pretty much that.
Cool.
Yeah.
Has any client at all approached you about Meteor? Build something?
So the question was, have any clients approached us about building stuff in Meteor? Not yet. I mean, I'd say from the client side, usually they're like a little behind on stuff that we're excited about. It took them a while to even be approaching us about Ruby on Rails versus us telling them about it. And I'd say more what I get are applicants for web engineer jobs. They're the people who ask me about Meteor. So no clients yet. Yes?
What was your experience with Udemy teaching an online course?
So the question was, how's the experience with Udemy and teaching an online course been? Well, part of that was this was a little bit of an experiment. We've done in-person classes. We've never done an online class. So part of the experience has been, we've pushed the course out there on different platforms, on Reddit and stuff like that. And so we've gotten a bunch of people to sign up, but the people who have, really engaged or left feedback or asked questions seems to be a small part of the community. So we're trying to kind of bump up the people who are really engaging. Yes?
So there are several video courses already. One of them is on Tux Plus, which is pretty popular. Have you looked at them, and how would you say your course is different, or maybe you target a different audience? Can you tell us more about that?
Sure. So the question is comparing our class to other existing online classes out there. The one you mentioned, I think Toots Plus, I haven't tried that one. I have looked at some of the Evented Mind ones, which are great. I think a lot of those go in depth into certain kind of aspects of Meteor, or how to really work with packages, or deep dive into those things. Ours is a little more broad, of just really getting started with Meteor, how to understand the concepts and build your first app. And like I said, kind of a little bit from a web developer's perspective, of someone who might know JavaScript but not really know anything about Meteor. So it's very beginner level.
All right, thank you.
All right, thanks.
All right, our next speaker is Roshan Jobanputra. He is the co-founder and lead engineer at SlipCal. It's an appointment booking and scheduling app that's made with Meteor. Roshan.
Hi, everybody. My name is Roshan, and I'm one of 2 engineers on our team of 5 total. And basically, we have been developing over the last year a simple, easy appointment booking solution for small businesses. We started using Meteor, I think, last May, and so far, so good. Everything's been awesome and easy to figure out. So I'm just going to go through and give you guys a quick demo of the app, and hopefully it looks cool. So this is just a static landing page. We're using Nginx to serve this up. That's not Meteor. But first, I'll show you guys what it's like to go into the actual app and pretend you're a customer and go in and book somewhere. So basically, here's our listing of calendars that have chosen to show up on our home page, and we'll go down to a test drive calendar. We can pick which kind of activity we want to show. We can pick a photo consultation, a yoga class, training session. And then right here we have availabilities that have shown up on this calendar over the next week or 2. We can go in right away and book something. You can book as a guest. I'm going to log in real fast just to show you guys for the demo. And where was that one? Oh, this one right here. We're going to book that one. We can write a comment. And we are booked. So basically, now right away, instantly reactive, everything is good to go. And it sends out email confirmations almost instantly. So here you go. Here's an email confirmation saying your appointment's confirmed. And Meteor does all of that. We hook into Mailgun for that kind of a thing. Now I'll go back to our homepage, and right before this, I created a calendar from the merchant side. So basically, you can go to our site right now and create a free calendar using that button. But I called it Meteor Co-working. And so from the business side of things, it's a little bit different. You have more functionality, and basically, you have a drag and drop functionality. So I've created these activities before. You can create an activity which is basically a template of what your week, what you'll be offering, and you can pretty much drag and drop onto your calendar, set up these appointments, and there you go. I'm going to go onto the mobile app. I've got 40 seconds here. I'm going to show you guys. The mobile app is a separate Meteor client that connects to the same DDP backend as the desktop app, and therefore everything is also live and reactive. And we're going to show all activities. What week is that? So on July 2nd, you'll see right here, there's a beginner session, which is that same appointment. The mobile app, we can go in and book. Actually, I'll book with an account. And, oh, got kicked out there for a second. We can book, and it shows instantly right here that that's the account I'm using, was booked right there. I can add a comment here, and it'll go back and forth between the app. So right now we have a few businesses that are testing this live. We just opened up last week to pretty much an open create account process, and we encourage you guys to try it out and refer us to other people that you think could use the platform. So any questions?
Are you using some sort of library for your
It's all custom code. The question was, are we using some sort of library for our calendar interface? The only thing we're using is jQuery UI, draggable, droppable. Before Blaze, we had a whole bunch of hacks to get that to work, but now it's easy. So.
How do you create your mobile app? Is that native, or is that?
No, the mobile web app is all Meteor as well. Everything is Meteor. The only difference is on the environment, we set the DDP default connection URL to the desktop app URL, basically, and that way we didn't have to code any server-side stuff on the mobile client. We basically didn't want to package up our whole desktop app with all that templates and client-side code and serve it on the mobile, because it'd be pretty big.
Were you doing payments integration as well?
The question was, are we doing payment integrations? And yes, that's on the to-do list.
How are you doing the transitions in the mobile app?
There is a package called Iron Router Transitioner, I believe, that goes between, yeah. Oh, the question was, how are you doing transitions on mobile? Anything else?
Hey, what was the biggest challenges you faced? I'm sure the Meteor, I know, is evolving very quickly, so maybe in stages, like in the beginning and now.
So the question was, what are the challenges we faced over the development period? And the first thing, like I talked about before, was the draggable, droppable. We had a lot of issues with Spark. Once we got the calendar interface down, we have a lot of things going on in the background. We have reminder emails being sent out, stuff like that. So getting that to work within the context of Meteor was quite challenging. We have like some API integrations with Mailgun, Mixpanel, and a few other things. We had some optimization issues that we think we've solved, and that just had to do with a lot of extra data being served or pushed to the client. And once we figured out exactly what our publish function should be, it was pretty simple.
In terms of releasing the calendar?
Releasing the calendar as a package. If I had more free time, maybe. Right now, it's pretty tightly integrated with the whole system we have going on with slots and appointments and all of that. So maybe in the future.
There's a Meteor full calendar package that does calendars if you guys are curious.
Okay. The question or the comment was that there's a Meteor full calendar package that's also available. We thought about using that, decided to go custom because it fit a little bit better with our context.
So how's Meteor on Windows?
How is Meteor on Windows is the question. I have a VirtualBox running, and this is it. So basically, I have to reconfigure my network every time I go to a different Wi-Fi router in this VirtualBox. So I'm going to get Mac soon. Any other questions? Okay, thank you.
All right, our next speakers are Nathan Ross and Stu Stein. And they are going to be telling you about the demo of the anonymous app Strange.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Let's see if we have this set up. Perfect. So I'm Nathan, and this is Stu. And we're going to talk about Strange, a Meteor app that we built. We just, in the last several months, actually became developers after going to a 3-month intensive course at General Assembly. So we're really excited to learn more, and Meteor was something that we could do that with. So we're going to present Strange, an anonymous app we built.
So you can go try it out at getstrange.co.
Boom.
It's a fun, fast way to meet or to talk to people anonymously in a one-on-one sort of context. The first thing that we're going to try to do is show you the app really quickly and then talk about our latest challenge, which was joins specifically. So let's see if we can go over to, okay.
So let's go. So we'll go quickly through the demo since we have 1:52. So first thing we do, we built in a Facebook Connect that possibly is loading.
Or not.
It's in another window.
Oh, is that why?
Well, yeah, it's a.
Do 4 fingers up. See if you can find it.
There we go. Okay. So the reason we chose Meteor for this is because we like the reactivity and also having data change automatically. So, for example, someone posted the note, "Beware of the purple toad." No idea who that is, but so I'm going to reply, "What is the purple toad?" Thank you. Then you can see the person's online, so we can go in.
You can see nothing.
Oh. This is strange, huh? Okay. There we go. So basically built in the ability. So it's not safe to know at the moment. That is awesome. And whoever is doing this right now is getting real-time updates. You want to create a note?
And then you can create your own note and say like, "Man, I love Meteor." And then it's going to be sent out into this huge feed of notes, and then anyone who's using the app can like go and respond to one of these notes.
And multiple people can respond to the same note, unlike a 1980s AOL app.
So that's our app, and we're ready to take questions.
Where are you hosted?
We're using Modulus for this. Yeah. Sorry, we had more, but.
Can you actually talk about the deployment process to Modulus? I think a lot of people are just on free.media.com and getting ready to go to some other solution. Trouble for you?
So we actually had some issues with our code being written not super awesome. It caused issues with scaling, but Modulus was pretty nice. They are actually set up for setting up a Meteor application automatically. So it's basically downloading Modulus as a special package onto your terminal, and then just Modulus deploy, and then just setting up the actual database. So it's actually pretty nice how fast that worked. And then we spent a week going back through our application and fixing problems with reactive joins and whatnot.
And when we had total noob questions, they were really nice with support. So that was nice.
Could you talk about joins? Some slides.
Why, yes.
Could we talk about joins with slides? So very quickly, as soon as we deployed to Modulus, you can see here's our CPU, and it maxed out very quickly.
That was with about 10 users?
With 1 user, actually.
Oh.
We restarted the app, and you can see it back up at 100% CPU. So we hopped into the Meteor IRC, and a very nice person pointed us to Kadira, which gives you all sorts of metrics on your app, which we had never used before. They also have a really nice academy, like a whole bunch of articles in there that you can go and read to help you optimize your app. And so immediately we found out that it's our observers. We had 167 observers, which is every time you do a publication of data and it's subscribing to all this data, there's an overhead having to do with that. So we need to condense all of our publications, which we did with MRT add published with relations, which took us from seven publications down to only 4 publications, and it reduced our observers from 167 to 5. So afterwards, our CPU looks super nice. So that was our quick.
So noob problems that we.
Thank you. Is that with 1 user still?
Yes, that's still with 1 user.
Could be you.
How did you find out about Kadira?
The IRC.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, right,
so
right.
someone on the IRC was nice enough to respond because, yeah. Yes.
How long did you spend developing this app?
About 2 months or so, 2.5. We're slow, we're new,
It was a great learning experience. We started with Discover Meteor, took that as far as we could, and then started breaking things outside of that and figuring out what we were doing wrong and trying to make it more mobile friendly and figuring out problems here and there. So it's just really enough fun.
And how long was it after
It was actually for our final project. Oh, sorry, how long after WDI did we start doing this? And it was our final project. Cool.
Cool. Thank you. All right, and that concludes our talks for Devshop. Thank you for watching. If you're watching on YouTube right now, please subscribe. The button is right here, and as you can very well see. And don't forget about the Meteor Challenge. And if you are here right now, please take one item of trash from your table. We have garbage bins, recycle, and compost back there, very clearly labeled, 3 different categories. So if you wouldn't mind taking a few items and putting them back there, that would be super helpful. Thank you, and thanks for coming to Devshop. Thanks for a great Devshop, guys.